guys, today I have a little bit of a different video. I decided that I'm going to rank all 6 of the Urban Decay Naked palettes. Now, I'm not including the Naked Basics or any of those in that little kind of mini collection of the Naked series because I feel like for me, those are more complementary palettes. They are all matte. They aren't, it's not a palette I will often use on its own. That's just me though. I do like a little shimmer in my life. So, yeah, this, honestly, I don't know if anyone's really going to care about my opinions of, my personal ranking on the Urban Decay Naked palettes, but I thought this would be kind of a fun video to do, like ranking different things in the Naked palette series. I've actually thought about doing that also with the Too Faced chocolate bar palettes. However, some of those palettes are no longer available, so I wasn't too sure about that one. I thought I would rank the 6 Urban Decay Naked palettes: Naked Original, Naked 2, Naked 3, Naked Smoky, Naked Heat, and the new Naked Cherry. Now, I just want to say, I love all of these palettes. The quality, I would say, is pretty consistent for the most part throughout the palettes. There's a few hit and miss shades in each palette, but for me, this is more about my personal tastes and preferences and things like that. So I'm going to go from my least favorite Naked palette to my most favorite Naked palette. And again, I love all these palettes, so just because something is number 5 or number 6 on my list, it doesn't mean that I don't love it. It's not my ultimate favorite. So, number 6 on the list, I don't believe is available anymore, and it's the Urban Decay Naked Smoky. When I got this, I actually did a comparison video between this and the Urban Decay Smoked palette, which, funny enough, that's the one I ended up decluttering, and I ended up keeping this one. I was really into it when I first got this palette, and then I was kind of, like, I wasn't as interested in it, after, the hype of, ooh, a new eyeshadow palette kind of faded away, like I didn't find myself reaching for it a whole lot. It has a lot of cooler tone shades, and there are some shimmery shades and some satin and some mattes. This does have the most amount of mattes. Actually, no, the 2 newer Naked palettes have the most amount of mattes, but I think the color selection's nice. If you prefer a more smoky, dramatic color selection, I think you'll like this palette. However, I feel like most of my looks come out the same because although there's a purple and there's different shades of gray, everything kind of just ends up being a gray smoky eye. Even with the purple or some of the browns and warmer tones, it's still just kind of, I feel like I get the same look every time I use this palette. Packaging though is super pretty. I love this style of the packaging with the magnetic closure, and you have like, the smoke in the background. I do like this packaging a lot. I think it's a really pretty packaging, but this is probably my least favorite Naked palette. I've gotten more into it recently, but again, if I had to get rid of one Naked palette, I'd rather not, but if I had to, it'd probably be this one. Second, my 5th one of all the Naked palettes is the original Naked palette. Now mine is obviously super worn out. I feel like everyone's. The packaging was just not a good idea. It's like that velvet kind of packaging, similar to the Anastasia, but for some reason this one looks so much dirtier than the Anastasia one, and I don't know why. Probably because, I've had this longer than any of my Anastasia palettes. This is the original Naked palette. It has very warm tones, which I know warm tones are super in and super popular, but for me, honestly, I prefer a cooler tone in my eye. Now, don't get me wrong, I will wear a bright orange eyeshadow every now and then, but as far as like an everyday look goes, this isn't a palette I reach for too often, and also, I'm very fair, so pretty much for like an everyday look, I would reach for like these 4 shades here in the front. Everything else is kind of dark for me to wear as like an everyday look. Like I could use Half Baked on the lid or something, or Toasted, but overall, this is more of a dramatic palette for me personally, and that's why it is my 5th favorite Naked palette. Number 4 on the list is the Urban Decay Naked 2. And when I was ranking these, I kind of surprised I didn't rank this one higher because of how much I use it. But the thing is, I've realized that I always use the same look with this palette. I think the color selection is awesome, but for me, why I love this palette so much is because of this shade here called Verve. Super, super pretty. I love that eyeshadow. It's so pretty. I love that packed on all over the lid, and then some of the gray and plummy shades and the blacks in my crease, But again, I I like the color selection. I think this color selection is my favorite out of the 3 I've shown so far, and that's why I've ranked it higher than the other 2. But yeah, I don't know. It's a nice palette. I do like it, but when I really sat and thought about it, I pretty much do the same look all the time with this palette. Number 4. Is it number 4? Number 3. Number 3 is the Urban Decay Naked Heat. I feel like this came out kind of late compared to the other warm palettes that were out. This just has a lot of red tones. I do like how this is a more unique warm palette, because most warm palettes will have the bronzes and the warm browns and oranges, whereas this one, it has more red tones, and red is my favorite color, okay? Hence, my hair is that color. Obviously, my hair is not the color of any of these shadows. Maybe this ashes shade kind of borders my hair color, but not really. I don't know. I really like this palette. I think the color selection is kind of unique for a warm palette. This is probably one of my favorite all-time warm eyeshadow palettes. But again, it's very monochromatic. I feel like this, you get a very similar look, but the quality is really nice and the packaging is really pretty. And no, I didn't rank it this high because of the packaging, but it's just, I don't know. I really do like this palette. Second and first favorite. Now, I'm going to have to put these at a tie. The reason why they aren't tied for first is because the next one I'm mentioning, which is my second favorite, I've only used twice. I've used it one other time, and then this look today, I did a Get Ready With Me video, which I think is going up before this video. The Urban Decay Naked Cherry. Now, I knew I was going to buy this because I'm a collector of the Urban Decay Naked palettes. I own all of them. I love all of them. But this is just, I'm going to try to make sure the brush doesn't fall out. But this color selection is just so pretty. It has pinks and berries and, oh, there goes the brush. Color selection in this is just so pretty with the pinks and the berries and the cherries and the plums and the purples and the, I don't know, man, but it is a really, really nice color selection. I do enjoy this palette. This is a kind of color scheme that I like. I know if I ever came out with an eyeshadow palette, it would have a ton of purples and berry tones in it because those are the colors I really like. I did actually, just because this palette is so bold, you can actually do a really more toned down neutral look. I mean, this is very toned down and neutral for me. I'm going to be wearing this makeup look to work later. So, I mean, I really like it. I think it's nice. Number 1 is my Urban Decay Naked 3, which in my opinion is kind of a subdued version of the Naked Cherry. I'm actually going to hold them up next to each other so you can see what I mean. But again, like I said before, I can't really compare Naked Cherry and say that it's my ultimate favorite more so than my Naked 3 because, again, I've only used the Naked Cherry twice. So here is a little comparison of the two. Obviously different color selections, but I think the Naked Cherry is kind of a bolder version of Naked 3. Naked 3, I love Naked 3. It's such a pretty palette besides the fact that my one eyeshadow always falls out. Be very careful how I hold this because packaging wise, I think this is my least favorite just because this is the only palette that I've had eyeshadows fall out of. Like 3 or 4 of these shades, the pans have actually fallen out of the palette, so that's kind of annoying. But I love this color selection. There's some cooler taupey shades and there's just a lot of rosy mauves and I really like this palette. I think it complements green eyes really nicely and I really love this palette and this is probably my favorite Naked palette. And Naked Cherry is very much so a close second, but again, I have to use that more to really, you know, say that I like it as much as this one. But yeah, this is probably my favorite out of all the Naked palettes. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. This was kind of a fun video to film because it's just, I don't know, I thought it'd be kind of a fun video to film. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you have any video requests, let me know in a comment down below and I will be more than happy to do them for you. And stay tuned for another video coming Monday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. I will see you guys next time. Bye!